And welcome back to another CBB Talk with your boy, Will Dickinson. We're doing a Sunday night episode if you can't tell. And it's because, honestly, I just didn't feel like doing one tomorrow after school because I'm kind of busy. This next week, I'm going to be really busy. So I don't know how I'm going to get the Wednesday episode out. I will try. It just might be a little later than usual. So with some Wednesday games maybe already happening while I make that episode, but I'll try to make a Wednesday episode because I got golf tryouts this upcoming week for my school. But I got Sunday night episode for you because there's no more. Well, there's some games happening right now, but nothing really that's going to impact my top 25 because it looks like Marquette is rolling. We got to talk about this weekend, man. We have a lot of interesting things and really a lot of bubble situations. So you see the title of this episode, it's going to be something about the bubble, because we have a lot of, we can really start having real conversation about teams in or out. Of course, we still got, I believe, maybe two more weekends of regular season college basketball. Maybe is it one more weekend? It's one or two. I think it's two more weekends left of college basketball in the regular season before we get to the conference tournament. So we can have real bubble conversations. But let's get into this weekend recap because we have a lot of big games and a lot of games that impact tournament seeding, conference standings, and much more. So let's get into this first big game. Of course, we always go in chronological order when the games happened. The first big game, we have a huge one that happened in Waco, Texas, between Houston and Baylor. And Houston, what I said was if Houston gets the win over the weekend, they would move to my number one team in the nation. And they did. Houston is now my number one team in the nation. I expect them to be number one in the polls when they refresh tomorrow. What a game. This was an absolute classic here. Houston dominates that first half. Eldred Kyer hit threes. Jerron Roberts was big. And Baylor really struggled with that Houston defense. But in the second half, it wasn't. I thought Ray J. Davis played an amazing game. Yes, you see this 8 turnover number, but he controlled the game. He had to play pretty much the whole game, 43 minutes in this one. Pretty much played the whole set. I think he played the whole second half in overtime. 21 this one. Jacoby Walter was huge and efficient, 23 points there. And a great battle from Baylor at the end of the game. Obviously, Houston almost did lose this, and Neve Misi is really probably the reason they did. He got that and one down the stretch. The freshman can't make the free throw to win it. Has a dunk slip through his hands in overtime. I believe had a turnover. He just didn't have his best game, and you only have 2 bench points from Baylor, so that's a concern. And I'm not huge on the Bears this year. I think I got them down to 14th in the nation, 13th in the nation. This is their eighth loss, so a little concerning for them. They're a couple games back now in the Big 12 standings behind Houston. Look, Houston's just a juggernaut. Their defense wasn't amazing that second half today, but they got stops when they needed to. Emmanuel Sharp hit some big shots. Jerron Roberts was huge in this one. And Jamal Shed didn't have his best game, and they still got a win there. Cryer hit three threes against his former team. They don't have the greatest depth as Houston, but they still have good role players that come off the bench and do their play their part, like Tugler and Walker. Dunn has moments. I think Houston's the best team in the nation right now. I think that there's a clear top three, and right now Houston would be my one and maybe the number one overall seed in March. It's really tough between those three. It honestly doesn't matter because I'm sure they're all going to get the region they want with Purdue in the Midwest, Houston in the South, and UConn in the East. But it's a real debate for who's the best team in the country, and I think Houston right now, my number one team. And yes, I dropped Baylor. Baylor stays at 13. I could see them being lower, but they still have really good wins. But this is back-to-back losses now for the Bears. I believe back-to-back losses for Baylor. We'll see them. See how far they will drop in the polls over the weekend. Let's see. BYU took an L to Kansas State. I said keep an eye on this one. Arthur Kalumu, 28 in this one. Good game there. BYU is very bipolar as well. Um, they've been in and out of my rankings all like these past couple weeks. They're in my rankings for this game. They dropped out for another Big 12 team in TCU. I don't know about BYU. They shot terribly from three. I think they went like 3 for 20, 3 for 30. Where did they go? It was something really bad. I gotta go look now. What did BYU shoot from three? Can this load? Why is my Wi-Fi acting at an all-time slow rate? They went 6 for 30. 6 for 31, yeah, and Kansas State was just below 50%. So yeah, that's the difference there. BYU's going to shoot a lot of threes, and they're acceptable to upsets, but they could go on a run in March because of the rate they shoot the three ball. A huge game in North Carolina took place over the weekend. It was Wake Forest and Duke. And sadly, the biggest story from this game wasn't even the result on the court. Obviously, we're going to talk about the result on the court. Wake Forest takes down Duke, and I think this game is going to cement Wake Forest in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, they have insane computer numbers. Their net, their KenPom is super high. And then they just haven't had the quad one victories. This is only their second of the year. In a good game against Duke. And look, Duke held their own. They just turned the ball over too much down the stretch there. But Hunter Sallis, man, as when I do my end of the year awards, he's going to win transfer of the year in the ACC. 29 this one, 11 for 13 from the field was amazing. Carr in the second half was good. Boopy Miller had a good game. This is a really, really good Wake Forest team, and they don't have the best depth. But look, I think I'm not looking for crazy depth from a team at this point. Like, not a lot of college teams do have depth besides like a Kentucky, and Duke has solid depth. Proctor had a good game, 14 off the bench there. Um, but the real story of this game was the court storm after. I don't have a huge problem with court storming. I love that aspect of college basketball. It makes it, more fun when you see a team get upset on the road. And you saw the Soma video. It was not purposeful. As Flip said, Flip did think it was intentional. It wasn't. You kind of see almost Flip puts his leg out there. He kind of gives a little shove. It's an unfortunate thing, and I don't think you should ban court storming. I think that the best case for court storming is let the players get off the court and then storm the court. We saw what Creighton did was kind of get a security for let UConn get off while the people were storming the court. Something like that needs to take place because obviously you don't want players getting hurt, but hopefully Flip's good. But I don't have a problem with it. Shouldn't ban it. And here, one thing about court storming that I could say is if you don't want court storming to happen, don't lose games on the road. Don't lose games on the road. I know easier said than done, but a good game for Wake, and Wake's a very good team. I think they'll be in the NCAA tournament this year. If the ACC will get 5, maybe 6, maybe 5, could be 4, 5, or 6. I'm leaning towards 5, even though Virginia's falling. I think they'll get in. And watch out for Pitt. Pitt has a decent resume at this point, but Duke, I'm not too concerned. I dropped Duke really only one spot, I think. 2 spots to 10. I still got them in the top 10, just because I really like this Duke team. Obviously, they're my preseason number one, and you lost a game on the road to a top 25 net team. You should not be faulted too much for that. That's a big bubble result there for Wake. Arizona destroyed Washington. Easy win there. Good bounce back. Caleb Love had a 30 piece in this one. Shout out to Arizona. They're at 9. I actually dropped them because of another result. But a good bounce back win after their loss earlier in the week. Well, Iowa State holds on against West Virginia. Not a great game from Iowa State, but a win's a win. Again, this team isn't going to beat you, but with one star, Taman Lipsey had 14 this one. Gilbert had a decent game. I like Iowa State. I really do. I got Iowa State ranked 5th in the nation. I think they can contend for a 1 seed. If they win the Big 12 tournament, watch Iowa State be a sneaky 1 seed. If not, they'll probably end up being a 2 or 3 seed. I'm leaning towards 2 seed right now. Illinois holds on to beat Iowa in a high-scoring game. Coleman Hawkins has a career-high 30. This is a game for Iowa. If you win on the road against Illinois, you really get into discussion of being in the NCAA tournament. I don't think Iowa will get there this year, but they'll be a scary team in the Big Ten tournament to play against because they can really score the ball, and that's gonna be an interesting team to play against. Obviously, a sleeper team. I like Illinois. I think they can get to the Big Ten championship. And the Big Ten is gonna have some interesting bubble with a result that happened today. Yeah, TCU. Cincinnati. I called this from early on that Cincinnati wasn't going to be in the NCAA tournament. I really like TCU. Jacoby Coles had a really good game. Had 18. Emmanuel Miller had a solid game for the Horned Frogs, and they get a win. They're back in my top 25. I expect them to be in the rankings when they come out tomorrow. South Carolina takes down Ole Miss. I don't think Ole Miss will be in the NCAA tournament this year. They're more on my fraud side. Big win for South Carolina. To go on the road and just dominate like they did. South Carolina's up to 17. They steadied the ship after a rough week. About was this last week or 2 weeks ago? They steadied the ship this week. I believe they went 2-0. So shout out to the Gamecocks getting back on the right choice, and they're really in contention to win the SEC regular season. Obviously, when we get into the SEC tournament, let's see if they can get a win or two to really cement them being like a 4 or 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. A real bad loss for my New Mexico Lobos, a team that I've been hyping up all year. They're one of my favorite teams, and then you lose a home game to Air Force. It's a quad four loss. This is a loss that may bounce you out of the NCAA tournament, New Mexico. You don't have a great game from either Mashburn, Dent, or House, and that's what's going to kill you. Um, yeah, it sucks. New Mexico, I want New Mexico in the tournament because I think they're dangerous with their guard play, but you can't lose a home game to Air Force. It's just unexcusable. And when the committee looks back on your resume and you see a quad four loss to Air Force at home, um, that could be one that makes you not make the NCAA tournament because now we are what 3 weeks away from Selection Sunday, and you took a bad loss like that. You just can't be having that. You can't have that. Um, if you're the Lobos or really any team in the Mount West, you can't be doing that. And the Lobos right now is sitting like in the sixth spot probably out of those teams. And Mountain West could fade to a forbidden league with these ACC teams coming up because of Colorado State struggles as well. We had a big game in Lexington also that I'm about to, give my screen. What a game. Kentucky 117, Alabama 95. And the funny thing about this game was this was going on alongside Virginia and Carolina, and those were just polar opposite games. Kentucky scored more points in the first half than Virginia did in the whole game. Kentucky scored more points in this game, almost as much. They're close to as many points in this game than Virginia scored in the last 3 games. Justin Edwards breakout game, almost 100% from everywhere. Missed a free throw, but 28 didn't miss a shot from the field. Antonio Reed's efficient 24. Look at Big Z getting minutes in this one, who has been up and down with minutes, had 18 points this one. Let's see if he can become more of a key piece in this rotation. Aaron Bradshaw's kind of been pushed out, only getting 5 minutes in this one. Reed Shepard, Robbie D. The hero, I really like the way he plays. He was in foul trouble in this one, only had 17 minutes. I like this Kentucky team. And they're another bipolar team where we see them beat Auburn on the road, but then you lose to LSU. Granted, on the road, but still, you beat Auburn, and you go lose LSU, and then you beat and destroy Alabama. So maybe they're great against teams from Alabama. I don't know, but this Kentucky team, I obviously like Kentucky a lot, but they gotta be more consistent because their potential in the NCAA tournament is a Final Four team, but they could also lose in the first round. And Alabama's defense is a concern. Um, Obviously, you're scoring 95 points and losing. You can't be having that. You got into a track meet and didn't win. You didn't shoot the three. 6 for 17 is not great. And yeah, I think this is a very good team. Diabate and Pringle had good games. They're bigs off the bench, had good ones there. But we didn't see really much from Jaron Stevenson, Grant Nelson. You gotta play better defense in this one if you're Alabama. You can't lose a game scoring 95 points in college basketball, and they did that. I got Alabama down to 21st in the nation. Kentucky, biggest riser of the weekend at 18. But don't go and lose a game. I don't know who Kentucky plays this week, in the middle of the week, but don't go lose that game, especially if it's against an inferior opponent. Oklahoma hits a game winner against Oklahoma State. Really good one there. Um, Keeps Oklahoma. Maybe they can get a ranking. I don't really have them there right now, but a very big win for Oklahoma not to fall against your rival there. And big shot there by oh my God. I gotta remember this dude's name. Oh my, I'm pausing it real quick. I'm gonna remember it in 2 seconds. So Javian McCullum, whatever is good shot from them, big time over your rival. It's what everyone. It's what you dream of as a kid. Texas Tech loses at UCF. Bad loss there for the Red Raiders. Obviously, the Red Raiders are going to be in the NCAA tournament, but this drops their ranking. This moves Nevada in for me, who didn't play or played on Friday, got easy win. Nevada's in. This dropped Texas Tech out my rankings. I moved two Big 12 teams out. It's tough to win on the road the Big 12, and UCF's upset teams this year at home, like Kansas, like Texas, and now Texas Tech. So they're a comparable team, but still don't want to lose that game. UNC gets a road win at Virginia. I don't even know if Virginia's going to be in the NCAA tournament. They have a good record, good ACC record, but dude, this is now 3 games in a row scoring under 50. Their last 3 games, 49, 41, 44. That is bad. That is real, real bad. That's 134 points in 3 games. Kentucky scored 117 on one. Look, Virginia's defense is good. They play their offense is dog shit. They have the worst offense probably in the nation. Well, obviously not in the nation. Obviously, probably some bad teams have worse offense, but they are just they're not a good offense. They don't have the talent. They don't play at the pace. They don't have the talent. Someone's gonna have to change there. Going for Carolina, they accepted the pace they had to play at, and they played more efficient. Cormac Ryan had a good game with R.J. Davis not doing his thing and Baycott kind of being in foul trouble in that first half. They weathered the storm and got the win. Shows a lot about this Carolina team. Playing real good basketball of recent. And Carolina is ranked 7th in the nation. And a team that is buying for a 1 seed. That fourth 1 seed is going to be up for grabs. And if Carolina goes and beats Duke on the road or wins the ACC championship, they definitely can get that 1 seed. Shout out to JMU. 3 losses this year. They've been playing real good basketball after their losses to App State. Got a road win over the weekend. And they're 26-3. That's tied. I think they have the most wins in the nation. Well, they have a chance to get an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament, but they probably have to go win the Sun Belt Championship. Pitt got a win against Virginia Tech. Keep your eye on Pitt. Blake Hinson's playing really good basketball. They've been hot of recent. They got off to a bad start in ACC play, but they've been better of recent. I think they can snag they're in that bubble conversations as of now. They're in the bubble conversations. I think they can get to there if they keep winning. Auburn beats Georgia on the road. Auburn playing really good. They only 6 losses on the year. Bacon Mazzara had 25 in this one, really good game. Auburn's up to 11th in the nation there. After a solid road win. Princeton keeps winning 21-3. The Tigers, I like Princeton. They're a very, very good team. I want them in the NCAA tournament, and Xavier Lee, I believe, had 30 in this one or something real close to it. Kansas destroyed Texas without Kevin McCullough. That proves to me how good Kansas is. I got Kansas up, it says 8th in the nation. I moved them past Arizona. Nick Timberlake had a big dunk. He played pretty good minutes. DeJuan Harris was good. KJ Adams was really good. It shows that they don't rely on the three. Furphy was also solid in this one. They don't rely on the three like a lot of other teams. So I think they could be a little matchup dependent. If a team doesn't defend the three well or is a really good 2-point defense and has a good big, I think Kansas could struggle against that because they might have to rely on the three a little bit more, which is not their strength. But they're a really, really efficient team, a solid defensive team, and they have a really good big in Hunter Dickinson and just experienced players all around. And if Kevin McCullough can get healthy for the Big 12 tournament, going into the NCAA tournament, that's huge for Kansas because who knows, they're probably going to end up being a 2-3 seed, but maybe they can get to that one line if they win out. If they win out, Kansas would definitely be a 1 seed. What am I saying? When the Big 12 and they have to go on the road at Houston. That's gonna be a really good game to end the regular season. Boise State, Boise State's on my radar. They're playing really good. They're tied at the top of the Mountain West right now. I believe they're right now firmly in the NCAA tournament. Danglehart had 22. He's been playing really, really good basketball of recent. Clemson continues to win. Shout out to the Tigers. They'll be dancing this year. After not making it last year, they're back in the NCAA tournament. They're 24 from Joe Girard. Yeah, Colorado State lost a home game to UNLV, and UNLV is the sleeper team in the Mountain West, meaning like they could go out and win the Mountain West tournament in Vegas. It's going that they're the team that could really put some damage, and maybe have a shot of stealing a bid. They're a very good team, and Colorado State's fallen off, and I don't think they're on the bubble yet. But they can't have many more slip ups because they definitely could get there, and I wouldn't be too surprised. UConn rolls against Villanova. They had game day there. Rip Hamilton jersey retired. It was a good scene there. Cam Spencer, 25. Tristan Newton, triple-double, leads all D1 players with 4 career triple-doubles now. Shout out to UConn. No, you're not one of my nation. But look, the top three is the top three, and UConn will be a 1 seed in March there. There's not a doubt in my mind. Tennessee continues to roll. Tennessee right now is my fourth 1 seed. The 21-6, they're playing really, really good basketball of recent. I believe their last loss was that against South Carolina? I'm not sure. Dalton Connect 24. Jonas Idu's been playing really good basketball recently. Tennessee, I really like what they're doing right now. And they would be my fourth 1 seed right now. Some people have Arizona, some people have Carolina. It's a tough discussion to have. Washington State, you get all this praise, and then you just go and lose to Arizona State. Granted, on the road, and it's not easy to win on the road in college basketball, man. But you go and have your biggest win, maybe of your program's history, or in at least the last decade, and then you kind of just not give it all back, but just diminish it with a loss against Arizona State. There, I move Washington. I think I still got Washington State at 16th. You gotta win against Arizona this week, so you can't take too much away from that. But going into this week, Washington State was 18th and now they're at 16th. So you move up 2 spots over the week, which isn't bad, but you don't want this, and you're giving Arizona a chance to go win the regular season now. After you had, I believe, a 2 game lead, but now it might only be one or a half. I'm not sure. Seton Hall beats Butler. Seton Hall is in my NCAA tournament right now. I would have them on the right side of that bubble. Butler, not good home win. Shaheen Holloway's done an amazing, amazing job. If it wasn't for Dan Hurley, he would probably be my pick for Big East Coach of the Year. But a very, very good win there from Seton Hall there. Dre Davis had 21 in this one. Mississippi State's a team where I haven't really talked about them at all this year. Um, Josh Hubbard had 32 in this one, the freshman. It when I do my awards, the freshman year is probably gonna be Dillingham, Shepard, or Hubbard, and he's flying under the radar. 32 in the win against LSU, something that Kentucky couldn't do. Mississippi State's kind of gone under the radar. A team that was getting some buzz. Tolu Smith came back from injury. Mississippi State's been a very, very good team. I think they're going to be in the NCAA tournament this year. Colorado, a bubble team. Utah, I don't think Utah has a chance. They have 5 quad 1 wins, but they just, I don't know about the Utes there. Colorado, sorry, gets a good win there. Xavier Simpson's been playing amazing, had 28 in this one. San Diego State got a road win. Gonzaga continues to roll. They're right on that bubble as well. And St. Mary's continues their longest win streak in the country. I got St. Mary's up to 14. I'm high on the Gales. Of course, they're going to have that game rematch against Gonzaga if they can go for the season sweep, which is going to be tough to do, but it's going to be at home. And with that win, I think that if they win that game, that will lock them into the NCAA tournament. I still believe they'll be there, but if they lose that game and Gonzaga wins the WCC championship, then maybe it could be interesting. Today, 2 games going on right now. Nebraska, Minnesota could be interesting. Nebraska right now is in the NCAA tournament. Minnesota probably won't be there, but that game's in the first half. Marquette's is going to get easy win against Xavier. Cam Jones hot. I think this is back-to-back 30-point games for Cam Jones. Granted, against DePaul and Xavier, but still, back-to-back 30-point games is back-to-back 30-point games. Today, we had some interesting results, I would say. Um, Ohio State beats Michigan on the road. Michigan State. Michigan State. They're got to be right on that bubble. I think this is back-to-back losses for the Spartans. Dale Bonner hits, I don't know if it was a buzzer beater or what. Let me go look. Let me go see if this is a buzzer beater. I'll be right back. Because I had practice, so I couldn't watch this game, but I gotta see. Yeah, it was practically a game winner with 1 second left, three to win the game. Shout out to Ohio State. Back-to-back huge wins over on the weekends with a Purdue and then a Michigan State. So shout out coaching change there. Ohio State playing better basketball. Michigan State now 11 losses. They're gonna have to win some games in the Big Ten tournament now to get in. The Tom Izzo's streak is in real jeopardy. They're right now on the bubble, big time. Purdue. It was a little shaky at the beginning, but they get an easy win over Michigan State. Zach Edey had 35 and 15. They had Michigan had no answer for Big Eads, as I call them. Purdue's ranked third in the nation. They'll probably stay there. But the top three are the top three. I don't think that those three teams, they might change order, but they are not going to move from that top three anytime soon. FAU, they're going to have to win their conference tournament, I think, and that's going to be tough with USF. USF, my first team out of my top 25, got a win. They were underdogs at home against SMU, and they ended up getting the win. Pryor, Miguel, Youngblood, these are real good players on USF. They're my favorite to go win the American. And right now, I think if they win out the regular season, they got a tough game at Charlotte, and then I think two easy winnable games to close out the regular season. If they go 3-0, I think they're in the NCAA tournament as an at large, as long as you don't lose your first game in the American tournament. So I think they're 4 wins away from being in the NCAA tournament. That's all I'm saying. FAU, on the other hand, lost at Memphis. Not a bad loss by any means, but Memphis is not going to be dancing this year. And FAU is in real threat of not as well. A team that made the Final Four, had huge expectations this year, brought back everyone. And now you're like, is FAU going to be in the tournament? Right now, I would say no. Right now, I would say no for FAU. St. John's upset Creighton. Shots Rick Pitino wearing the all white. Looked pretty good. Easy win. David Jenkins at 27 this one. Trey Alexander at 31 wasn't enough. It was really just St. John's day. They shot the ball really well. Baylor Scheinman really struggled. They played good D on Kalkbrenner. And St. John's gets a good win. I don't think this is going to be an NCAA tournament team, but the Johnnies at least get a big win. If they can win out the regular season, the rest of the regular season, then maybe we can have some conversation about St. John's making the tournament. But they'll be a good NIT team, I do think. But yeah, that's it. That's from the weekend. Let's see what we got these next 2 days. Miami, Carolina. Miami's bad, dude. I can't believe how bad Miami is. Like, that's honestly surprising. And then we got a really good one. This should be a ranked game by the time it tips off. Monday, 9 o'clock. Baylor, TCU. At TCU, Baylor's trying to not lose 3 games in a row for, I believe, the second time this year. TCU beat them in triple overtime in their first matchup. This is going to be a real good one. A good guard matchup, Jameer Nelson Jr. And Ray J. Dennis. Two really good teams there. I like TCU to get this done. And Baylor will find Baylor right now, I think, is still a 3, maybe a 4 seed. This game, they're falling. They're not trending in the right direction. Tuesday is usually just a great day. Cincinnati, Houston. Cincinnati would have to win that game, I think. A Pitt going into Clemson, that's a huge game on Tuesday. That's a game where it's like, if you're Pitt and you win it, we can have real conversations about Pitt. Like Kentucky at Mississippi State. Let's see if Mississippi State, a team that's flown under the radar all year. This is a point to finally get your name out there. This would be a road win, a home win against a ranked team. And Kentucky should be around 17th in the nation by this time starts, because they went 1-1 on the week. Mississippi State, they won't be ranked, but this is a game, if you win, you start to get that national recognition. A ranked match. I don't think this will be a ranked matchup. BYU at Kansas. I think Kansas is going to roll and beat BYU in that one, man. And then Texas versus Texas Tech. Those are always fun games, a little rivalry there. It's not as good without Chris Beard coaching Texas, but still a good game. The Red Raiders, I assume, will win at home, and Texas is going to be on that bubble. And then Nevada, Colorado State, that's a really good Mountain West game also on Tuesday against two teams I think will be in the NCAA tournament. Jared Lucas and Blackshear for Nevada, I really like. And Colorado State's looking for a win there. If you lose this one, Colorado State's going to be on that bubble and not trending in the right direction. Are the Rams. Nevada doing the opposite. They're kind of going in opposite ways right now. A rare Sunday night episode from your boy. I don't know. Maybe I'll start doing these more, but we'll see. Obviously, when the NCAA tournament and conference tournament comes around, these videos are going to be, the schedule is going to be a little strange. And also, we'll see about the golf team, if my schedule will be really packed or not. But I appreciate you guys watching this video. This is just easier because you guys can watch it, have all day Monday to watch it before these games that tip off tomorrow. So hopefully this does well, and we'll see if you guys like it. Let me know if you like Sunday videos in the comments. And yeah, pretty efficient episode, and I'm happy with how it turned out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on. I will try to see you on Wednesday, but no guarantees. But you're good. I'm doing my best to get you a video on Wednesday. It might just be later than usual. All right, peace.